everyone, Kiss Alive. Let me go rock and roll. This is the last song and I have the whole album figured out. This is my first full album to figure out, and it was really my first album ever. Started me on my journey to playing guitar. Ace, I was enthralled with the band at that age, and you know the story. And it was a great time. I mean, so many great live albums and things way before the internet and all that. So with that said, we are in E flat tuning. So your E is an E flat, A flat, and so forth. So tune down a half step and you'll be in tune with the song. Kiss really throws everything but the kitchen sink in this. I mean, Paul's rhythms and different, even rhythm licks that he does are great. Ace's licks are outstanding. I learned some new ones like that intro, shortened intro, but it's just so memorable. So with that said, what we're going to start out, this is basically in the key of A, or it is in the key of A, and we're going to do a rock and roll thing, all right? So it's rock and roll, right? Let me go. We're going to hit this open A power chord, then we're going to hit 3, 4, back to the A twice. Then we'll go to 4 on the 4th string and open 5th string, back to 2. That's one full round. So the song starts out on that. Of course, you're playing it much faster, so it sounds all together, but there is just a little nuance to playing that. So really listen to the rhythm as you're playing with it. So after we do that 3 times, come back from the 4 to 2, we're going to slide all the way up on the 6th string to 17 and pull that down slightly with some vibrato. Alright, and then we kick in Ace's lick, the first lick that he does, and then verse 1. So Ace's first lick is really like a Chuck Berry. We'll talk about Ace's part second. I'm going to focus on the rhythm first, then we'll go over all the licks and lead parts. All right. So now we're back to this rhythm during Ace's lick. So we've got our intro of 3 times. Now while Ace plays his lick, the next measure is a full 4. Then they start singing. We're into verse 1. We do that same first, another measure 4 times through, and then we come into what's basically the rhythm that leads us into the chorus. All right. So for the rhythm, and this is where Ace's lick comes in. All right. This is where that comes in. He plays that 3 times throughout the song, and the rhythm lick, but we're going to focus on the rhythm. So we're going to do D or a G power chord to a D power chord twice. Then we go into that rhythm. Now the rhythm starts on the last 2, and then we're going to hit 2 again and start it 2 times through. When we go the second time, we stop at 4. We don't come back to 2, all right? So here it is. I'm going to do the G to D twice, the extra little A, and then the A starting it, another lick through it, but ending on 4. Then we go into the next part. All right, so this is really leading us to the chorus, and the next part we come in with a G held a little bit longer. This is more for a 2 count to D, Then we're going to move to basically using a fourth root. All right, so we're on the fourth string at the third fret, the third string at the fifth fret, and add your pinky down onto the second string at 6. All right, so that's an F chord, and then we move that up to a G. I'm sorry, that's an F chord, then we move it up to a G. Now, if you want, you can add the fifth string, so it'd be like a C over F to a D over G. It just fills it up, but Ace is coming in with this also. So Ace, his rhythm part during that is your basic A, D, F, and G. Alright, so that's a difference. They never play the same chords. Rarely, I should say. Not never, but rarely. Ace is always accenting what Paul's doing. Alright. So that is technically the verse into the chorus. All right, we've got Ace with the lick, Ace with the rhythm lick. Now we're going to start Ace's first solo. All right, before we do that, we have this little Paul Stanley. It's kind of breaking from the chorus, and it's this. So he's going to hit down with the A chord and then up muted or down muted. All right, and then we're going to come up 3 times with the A chord. Just stop it between. So we have this. All right, then we're going to go down, up, mute, and then down. I'm sorry, up and up. It really doesn't matter. It's more of a feel thing. I wrote this out. It's in my notes with little carrots up and down. But, so we've got this. Let me just play the whole thing. The last time there's 2 A's, he holds that, and that's when Ace's lead enters, all right? Ace will enter with the lead, and then we come into one measure of this. All right, that's the solo rhythm. The first solo is real short. It's only a measure long. Then we're into verse 2, which is another measure of what we just did. And then we're into the pre-chorus and chorus, all right? Stop. Okay, each time after the chorus it's a little different. This time we're just stopping, and then Ace is picking it up again. Okay, so Ace did his second lick and rhythm lick at that time, which we talked about. All right. He does those licks, and after the drums stop, we stop. The drums will stop, Ace enters. This is solo 2. Now the rhythm for this is 2 measures long. So we'll do 8 of those before we go into the pre-chorus and chorus. All right? So again, post-chorus, Paul does something a little different. All right? So let me go through the pre-chorus and the chorus. So we'll start from the G to D. So what he's doing there is basically playing at the 12th fret a G chord. All right, we're just going to play the 4th through the 2nd string, 14. It's you know the rhythm. It's in your head if you know this song, or when you're playing with it, it's so recognizable. So he's really staccatoing that, kind of stopping in between. Then we just move, referencing a D, and we're going to hammer in to what would be a G. All right, so it's the second string at the seventh. That's 8th fret, and the 4th string at 9. And he hammers into it. All right, it's real obvious that he hammers in and then hits it off. And then we're back into the rhythm, which would be verse 3. All right. Ace's second lick will come in as we go to the pre-chorus. All right, we'll go over all of that, and then we're into, like I said, this third chorus, and then we stop on an A this time. And then Ace will enter with solo 3. Okay, so solo 3, this is a long one. All right, this is 6 measures of 4 of those. All right. Sometimes I even hear Paul just stopping short. It's really live, and Paul's jumping around and so forth. But if you just want to play along and do the rhythm, it's 6 measures of that. And then just before the drums stop and we stop, we come out of it and we're going to do this. All right, so we're going to do A, basic power chord, down, up, down. Then we're going to chukka and then hit 7. We're not hitting the root note. This will be a D, so we're at the 4th through the 2nd string. And we'll move that up to a G, the 12th fret. Again, not playing the root. And then 14. Now, everything stops there. The drums stop and the bass comes in, then the drums pick up. This is more of a bass solo. All right. So at this point, and you've heard Ace, when he hit the A, he's doing his volume on and off. So if you don't know how to do that, you just keep the volume on your rhythm pickup off. And when you're in lead, it's on, but when you're up in rhythm, it's off. Ace loved that, and I love it. I think it's a fantastic little... Ace loved that, and I do too. I think it's a fantastic Aceism, if you want to call it that. All right, now we're into I'm calling this the rhythm outro. All right, there's really 3 distinct parts to it. And it's different from what we've done to this point. So I'm going to take you through first 2 measures that Paul will play before doing it 2 more measures where Ace will enter. Okay, so Paul's part will start like this. Then Ace enters playing the exact same thing. All right, so what we're doing here is we're referencing an A, an octave up, and we're hammering on what would be a D. On and off twice. Then to a G, but we're not playing the root. Then we move to our D, again without the root, and then our hammer on to what would be a G chord. C4. Then he moves to a 4th root A. And then back up to an A for a down, up, down. Start over. into the next rhythm there just to show you. Okay, so aces come in with us. The last A, I think, Paul, rather than come up to 14, which Ace does, and then Ace starts his next solo while Paul starts the next rhythm. All right, so I think Paul just stays here at the A, and let me go through the last one of Paul. Now what we're going to do, it's really basic rhythm, but we're going to palm mute on the 5th string 3 times, and then we're going to reference a C at the 5th fret of the 4th and 3rd string only, and then a D on, again, those same strings, but at the 7th fret. You can just see them doing that motion if you're a big Kiss fan, where they go back and forth, and this rhythm changes. All right, so the 5-7 with the 3 hits, that happens, let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 times. All right, after the 16th time, we're going to hit the A 5th string muted twice, and then go 7 5 7. All right, so they will do that, and as they're doing that, Ace is entered. He enters after the 12th, I think it's the 12th time, and he's doing, he's kind of following along with those notes, but he will stop that note, the drums will, you know, again, keep that rhythm. All right, so they're going to do that a total of 8 times. All right. After the 8th time, we're going into with an A. So we go into the pre-chorus. Ace actually goes into his 5th solo. It's a little bit different there. He doesn't do that normal lick. He's already done it 3 times. So we're going to do the pre-chorus and the chorus, and then we stop on an A. And then there's 3 more stops that Paul is doing. And then just end with an A. You can add your pinky over the 1st and 2nd. Move up to that A. Just make it interesting, but that's how it ends. Okay? So you got all the rhythms, lot to this song. I mean, Kiss really threw in the kitchen sink with this. Ace's solos, we'll go over that. There's a lot to learn, some beautiful Ace-isms in there, and you'll have the whole song. All right, for the first, I'm calling it lick. It's really during the intro that Ace does this. Alright, so we're going to hit our Chuck Berry 7 bent up on the 3rd string at the 9th fret. I'm sorry, 7th fret, catching 5 on the 1st and 2nd. We do that 4 times. The 5th time, he's going to hit 5 on the B string twice. Then we do 1 more with the 5 on the B. And then we go bend up 5 to 8. Then we're going to hammer on from 5 to 8, pulled off back to 5, landing on 7 on that third. Then we're going to pull off from 8 to 5 6 times. Then we hit 8 with a bend and release to 5 and kind of slid off. Alright, that's the first lick that you hear during the intro. So then we go into the verse, and then we have the pre-chorus where Ace does this lick. It's a little bit of a stretch. We want to cover the first and second string at 10. We're going to go up to 15 on the first string, hit that, pull off to 10, and then strike 10 on the second. Then we hit 15, then 14. Alright, so we have this so far. Then we come to 10 on that second string, back to 14, back to 10. Alright? So it's almost like so we got this all together, this first half of this lick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we start it over again. The only difference is we stop on 14. We don't come back to 10 in the second half of the lick. So it'll be, this is the second half. And then slide off. Alright. Again, written it out. It's in my notes. You'll have that. And then we're going to do what I call the rhythm lick, which is basically into the chorus. Alright. So he's going to come in and stop at the 4. Then he goes to the third string with a bend, and then another bend, release, pull off to 2 on the third string, catching 4 on the fourth, back to 2 on the third. So all together that rhythm lick. All right, then he comes in with the actual chorus. That's pre-chorus, I should say. Alright, so that's the first couple licks that Ace does, including what I called the rhythm lick as I wrote this out. Now we go into the verse, and then we got, I'm sorry, not the verse, but we finished up the chorus. We're going to come back in with Ace's first solo, which is only 1 measure long that Paul plays this. Okay, the first actual solo that we hear Ace play will start up here at the 20th fret. We'll be going from 17 up to 20, all right? The first measure will sound like this. So what he's doing there, after hitting 20, he's going to bend and release it, then hit it again, bend and release, and 2 more times. The last time with some vibrato. Then we kick off with this modified Chuck Berry. We're going to bend up the 19th fret, catching 17 on the first. 19 is on the third string. And then we come to the second string, 20 pulled off to 17. We'll do that 3 full times. The last time we're just going to pull off there, and then we're into the next measure. All right? The next measure will sound like this. So we're finishing up, because again, this is a pretty short solo. These are very fast licks, all right? What he's doing is he's hammering into 20 for this second measure and pulling back off to 17 on the second string, landing on 19 on the third string, 17 on the second, 19 on the third. Coming to the first string at 20 with a bend and release. Then we go 17, hammered on to 20, pull back off to 17, land on 20 on the second. And we're going to to do the same lick, but on the second string, land on 19 on the third. Then we're going to do the third string, 17, hammered onto 19, pulled back off, landing on 19 twice, back to 17. Then we go to 19 on the fifth string, to 17 on the third, 19 on the fifth, and 17 three times on the fourth string. So let me just do the whole thing slowly for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. That takes us out of the first solo. All right. Next one will be Ace's second solo that we hear. And we'll go over that. This has really got a little bit of Jimmy Pageism in it. Second solo that Ace does, we'll start here at the 12th position. We're going to go on from 15 to 12, 4 times. 4 more times, we'll pull up on the string and then release it, and then we'll play it 4 more times before we hit 50. So we'll have this. It's actually 15 twice. And then he goes into a lick at the 5th position. So that's the first measure of the second solo. For Ace's second solo, the next 2 measures, I think there's a slight mistake, but it's no big deal. I mean, it's fine, and you'll see it when I show you. But they're very similar. So it'll start out like this, all right? So to that very next measure. But what he's doing there, Chuck Berry, we're at the 5th position, so we're going to bend up that 3rd string at 7, catching 5 on the 2nd to 1st, 4 times. Then we come to 7 with a bend and release. Then we go from 5 hammered onto 7, pulled back off to 5 on that 3rd string, landing on 7 on the 4th, and then hitting the 3rd and 2nd at 5. Then we go from about the 2nd fret, slide up to about 21, back, and then you'll hear him do this. So he's hammering on from 5 to 7 on the 4th string, playing 5, and then going to the 5th string, 7, 6, 5, and then open A. Then we start this again. This is where I think it's just a little mistake. He didn't go to the 1st string. He hits the 2nd string twice. Then the next 3 are 2 and 1. So it'll sound like this. Not a big deal. We're going to do 7 bent and released, and then our 5, 7, 5 pull off to that. Again, slid up and back. Then we slide into 7 on the 4th string to 5. Then we go 5th string, 7, 6, 5, and land on 3. Then we're into the next measure. Alright, so we'll go over that next measure. Let me zoom in a little so you can see that better. Okay, again, this, to me this is very melodic, very memorable, but he's going to slide in basically to the 10th position, but we're going to slide into 11 on the 3rd string to start out with. Alright, I'll stop there, but what we're doing is sliding into 11 on the 3rd string, catching 10 on the 2nd twice, back to 11, 10, and 11. Then we catch 12 with a bend and release, then a bend and release and pull off to 10, back to 11 on the third string, 10 on the second. All right, so we have this so far. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to grab 12 on the first string with a bend, then 12 unbent to 10, and then slide down, just move down to 8. When we get to 8, what we're going to do is pull off 10 to 9 and 8. Alright, when he does that, it's really, how many times does he do it? I got my notes here, 18 times. So it's very hard to count that. Really listen for the rhythm, because when the rhythm changes, he'll come in with this. Alright, so when he comes in, he's going to grab 10 bent and then 10 bend and release. Then we go 8 to 10 with the hammer on and pull off back to 8. And that's all on the first string. Then we go to 10 on the second, back to 8 on the first. Then we're going to do 10 with a bend and release. And then 8 to 10 hammer on, pulled off back to 8. And then we'll land on 9 on the third string, back to 8. Alright, now we end the lick, or this solo, with a pull off from 10 to 8 on the second string, 9 on the third, back to 8, and then 10 bent with some vibrato and eventually slid down. Alright, so that is his full second solo. This next measure is really cool. I don't think I've ever played it like this lick like this. What we're going to do, we're back at the 17th position. Alright, so we're going to bend a typical bend of 19 to hit 17, but then we hit 19 unbent back to 17. And then we do a little 20 pull off to 17. Alright, so it sounds like this. Really cool lick. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around not bending that 19 the second time. But damn, that's awesome. It's new to me, people. Alright, we will do that. As we do that lick, it happens, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Then he changes it up. He's going to do 2 pull-offs from 20 to 17 before hitting 19 unbent. He'll do that 4 times. Then he does a couple that are just 20 to 17 and then 19. Then we do another 2 of the 20 to 17. Then we do 1 from 17 to 20, back to 17, 19. Actually, 3 of those. Ending on 17. So, like I said, there's a lot of numbers there and things like that. It's great to slow this down and follow it with my notes because there's so many notes to it. But I'll go through it slowly for 1, 2, 3, 4. So at that point, what we're going to do is grab 20 on the first string with some bends and releases and just keep hitting that. Okay, there's about 6 of those, and then we do this. All right, we're pulling off from 20 to 19 to 17. All right, we're going to do that a total of 4 times. Then we're going to hit 17 to 20, back to 17, landing on 20. This will be familiar to you. Then we're going to do the same thing, landing on 19 on the 3rd. Same will be 17 to 19 now on the 3rd, landing on 19. And then ending this part of the measure at 17. All right, so all right, now the next measure, we're still in this position. We're going to do a similar, it's where we go from 19 bent up to 17, and then on the first string, and catching 20 pulled off to 17 on the second. All right, we're going to do that 3 times. Then we pull off from 17 to 20. I'm sorry, 20 to 17. On the second string, same thing, back to first, back to second. Then we go 17 to 20, and then 20 bent. All right, and then we're going to kind of do another walk down. Back to 17, 20. This is a real specific walk down. 20, 19, 17, first and second string. Then we'll go 19, 18, 17 on the 3rd and 4th. All right, so from that 20 bend and then 20 off to 20, it will sound like this. Now the next lick, you'll find again real familiar. Alright, played much faster. This is, at speed, this is damn quick. Alright, what we're doing, once we get off the, we're going to come to 19 on the 5th string and jump between 17 on the 4th and 17 on the 3rd. Alright, that was 4 times. The 5th time, he hit 17 twice on the 5. And then starts it over again twice. One more 19 to 17 on the 4th string. And then we go to the 3rd string with 17 to 19, and then 17 hammered on to 19 pulled off. Land on 19 on the 4th string, back to 17, and then we're going to grab 20 pulled off to 19, 17, landing on 14. So we got this so far. Let me do the end of the leg. Now we just hit 17 twice on that 3rd string. So I know that's a ton of notes, but let's take it from that very recognizable 19 to 17 and then finish up this next half measure with it. So it'll sound like this. That ends this 17th position part. Now we're going to move up to the 5th position and finish out the last 2 measures of this solo. And very melodic ending to this. It's very recognizable if you're a big Kiss fan. It'll sound like this. Last 2 measures of this solo. what we're doing, we're going to be on the 3rd and 2nd string at the 5th fret. This will be 5th position. And we're going to hit 7 with a bend and release on those 2 strings back to 5. Catching 7 on the 4th string. 2 hits on 5 on the 3rd and 2nd. Alright, so we have this so far. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we grab 5 on the 3rd string to 7, bend and release, and pulled off to 5. Then we just come back to 7, pulled off to 5. We'll do that 8 times. After the 8th time, we're going to grab 7 with a bend. Then we do this. Alright, there'll be 6 of these. So we're bending 7, releasing, pulled off to 5 on the 3rd string, catching 7. Alright, so after the 8 hammers on and pulls off, we're going to do 6 of those licks. Alright, so. Then we go 5 to 7 bent slightly to 5 on the 2nd string with 8 pulled off to 5 3 times. We'll catch 8 with a bend and release, then 5 bent and release, and then 7, 5 on the 4th string, and then 7, 6, 5 on the 5th string to 3. Alright, a lot of numbers again, but if you follow along with my notes, we'll go through this slowly from the last 2 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, and that ends the 3rd solo. Now we got a 4th solo coming up. Alright, A's 4th solo, which takes us as we're coming out. It's done very well. Kind of changes it up here and there, but it's basically 14th position. We'll move to 12 eventually, but we're playing on the 3rd and 4th string. Just stop there. So we start 14 to 16 from the 3rd to 4th string to 2 14s. I'm sorry. And then 3 14s in a row. Back to 16 now to 14 twice. We'll do that 3 times. Then 3 14s. Again. Now 16 to 14, this time we'll do that. Let's see, that's 4 times. Oops. Then we start with 3 on the 14. So we've done that a total of 6 times. Then we're going to hit 14 3 more times before going to 12, and then this. We're going to pull off again from 14 to 16, 14th fret of the 3rd string to 12, 16 times. Then we start in with Paul in the rhythm. Paul is doing... He's already been doing that. We're going to come in with it. But the very first time, It didn't sound right to me, so I went over it, and sure enough, he starts out 14 and 12 on the third string. So it'll sound like this. 3 muted fifth strings. Alright, so it's a 14 bend release, pulled off to 12, landing on 14 on the fourth. Then we move to the fifth position. Alright, and what we're doing is following Paul's rhythm. Alright, so we're going to do this. Alright, he'll do that a total of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times before he comes in with Paul in the 2 hits on 5. Alright, that will happen a total of 8 times. Alright, then we're into Ace's fifth solo. So, you know, lots going on. Like I said, everything but the kitchen sink. But this will come back up to the 17th position. So this fifth solo really starts out again at 17th position. You want to cover the first and second string because you're going to pull off from 20 on the first string and then 20 on the second. Okay, very fast. It will repeat 21 times. All right, total. I counted them. Again, you're best listening to the rhythm because you're just going. And then he does this. So this fifth solo really starts out again at 17th position. You want to cover the first and second string because you're going to pull off from 20 on the first string and then 20 on the second. Okay, very fast. It will repeat 21 times. All right, total. I counted them. Again, you're best listening to the rhythm because you're just going. And then he does this. Alright, so to end this solo, he's going to grab 20 after the 21 times. He'll grab 20 on that second string with a bend and then another bend and release. And then we're going to hit 17, hammered on to 20, back to 17, landing on 19 on the third string, back to 17 on the second, 19 with a little vibrato that's bent up. Alright, so we have this. Then you want to grab, as you're bending 19 up, you want to grab 20 on that first string. Alright, so we have this so far with the 20 on the second string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, then we're going to do 19 bent and then 19 bent and release, pulled off to 17 on the third string, back to 19 on the fourth string. Then just lay down, pull off the third string, 19 to 17, landing back on 19 on the 14. And then end on 17 and slide off. So that's the fifth solo. Alright, so that's the fifth solo. Again, I got that all written out. Now, when the song ends, Ace will come in and help end it with Paul. Paul is just hitting an A, but Ace is adding a little bit to that. So we'll go over those ending licks next. So the ending that Ace plays, alright, Paul will hit an A, Ace will hit it at the same time, but then he's going to chuck on that A twice before doing this first lick. So what we're doing there, third string, fourth fret, bend and release, and pull off to 2, landing on 4. Another A and 2 chucks. What he does is slide into the 9th fret of the 3rd string, catches the 9th fret of the 1st string. Alright, another A and 2 chucks. Then we're going to pull. You need a little hybrid picking here, so you're going to pick the 3rd string and with your finger pluck the 1st string. We're going to go 9, 8, 7, and then 6 and 5 on the 3rd and 1st string. Alright, and then we end on our A. So together, I'll do it very slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the whole song. Gosh, I really hope that helps everybody. Download my notes. I'm sure that will help because a lot to it, and I really enjoyed learning it for everybody. Enjoy. I'm gonna add to this video. What Les Paul am I playing? Well, this is a new Les Paul Modern. I actually ordered a Les Paul with a candy apple top, 57 reissue, and it took Gibson, they told me it'd be a year, but after 15 months and no end in sight, I just canceled the order. And I happened to see they had these Les Paul Moderns, and this is not quite candy apple red, it's called Sparkling Merlot. So if you could see this up close, it's kind of like a gold top. It's got flecks in it that aren't very sparkly per se, but if you look at it close, you can see the specs in it. Beautiful guitar. The pickups are a little bit hot. They're humbucker pros and a little bit hot. The fretboard is ebony, which I've played ebony, I've played rosewood, I've played, Amazon rosewood. I have the Les Paul with that on it. You know, to me, I don't really notice a difference in tone, but some people might. The other nice thing about this guitar, it has this nice little cutaway here, which really helped me get up for some of these solos. And if you know the history of Ace's guitar, he actually had some cut away like that so he could reach the upper frets a little easier. I've got reissues 56 through 59, and this holds up to all of them. It's just a beautiful guitar. I did add the pickup ring, and instead of clear knobs, I added the black knobs. I just like that look better. And frankly, I like this guitar so much, I ordered all 3. So there's a black graphite, which is again black with a little bit of flecks in it, and a faded Pelham blue. So you're going to see those 2 guitars in the next 2 lessons. So that's my newest acquired fiddles. So enjoy, everybody.